This meeting is being recorded.
Yep. Morning, everyone. So, yesterday, have you tried that example? Input all input techniques. Have you tried? Huh? What are all the input techniques we discussed? So, input techniques, we have query string, another prompt, and form elements. So, we can handle input by using these three: query string, prompt, form elements, and all. So, query string you will learn one more time in a different concept called state management. Here just for input we learned one concept about query string. Query string, prompt and form input elements. In input elements we used just only drop downs we use. So we have drop downs and using drop downs we created one small interaction. So here in the input we used all these drop downs. Drop downs are all select. Now in this user can input and user input can be from all drop downs, it can be input. Now we will see another example. Another example like if there is a text box or radio, because to learn radios and all you need to learn about some conditions also. Later we will do all. Initially one more example we will see. In this what we designed is user selects a movie, time and details and click on book, the summary will come. And when user clicks modify booking, we changed the title as modify booking. We changed the button as what? Save. And when user changes, then save, then it will have a different one. So this is a simple example of input. Let's create another example here. I will add here form input dot html. Just a simple one I will give. Because to learn all elements, we need the concept of logics, conditions and all. So I will create here a simple data list. And here I given details. I will say suppose register product something. Okay. We have data term. So name. And to enter name, we are giving a text box. Input type text. And this text box will have a ID, txt name. Next, we are having some price. For this, we have input type number, and the ID is some txt price. We have manufactured. So here we have a drop down. So here we will have a input type as date, txt mfd, manufactured. So we have category, and we have a category drop down option, select category, and we have like footwear, so fashion, some electronics, like this. Next we have another term, rating. In this we have input type range. We learned input type range also, id as txt rating. Here it is some range rating. Okay, here drop down have id as lst category, lst categories. Okay, these are your own names, id names. You can give anything. Traditionally when we give ids for elements according to the project rules, we always follow a camel case concept. We always follow a camel case. We call it camel case. Camel case, first prefix will be in lowercase, then suffix will start in uppercase, and after that again it will have lowercase. This is called as camel case. And in camel case, the prefix will tell what type of element it is. Suffix will tell for what purpose it is, what type of element and what purpose. Suppose if it is a text box, I given as txt. It is a button, I given as btn. If it is range, I just given as range. That means a developer should able to understand the element and its purpose by seeing the name. That is one basic tradition. So according to that I am giving. And a plural value when it is dealing with a collection. Singular value when it is dealing with a single value. Categories, that is because it is a collection of many things. So we given the word categories. These are all mandatory to follow in projects. That means not just a tradition in projects. These traditions becomes like rules. You have to follow them, right? Okay, now this is range rating. Okay, next another data term, stock. Data definition, input type is checkbox. Okay, id as some opt stock, and we have a label, stock available. That is just a message. And after this we have a button. Button is some submit or register, something like this we are having. Now remember, here two basic rules are there. I am not using a form container. Without form container I am designing. When to use the form is when your content is ready to submit to server, so that in the server there is some API which will collect your data and it will use on server side. That is not our current purpose. What is the current purpose? Just client side, we need to collect the data and show the data. So if you design in a form is a generic element. That means form by default submits to server. Even you don't want to submit to server, by default it submits to server. So to avoid that, we don't use a form as of now. Later, we have to use a form because this need to be submitted to server. On server, there will be one API in the backend which will collect the data and store in database. As of now, we are not storing anywhere. We are just collecting and showing. So we are not using form. If you use form, then two functionalities will work. One functionality, form have default functionality now because form is generic element. Form have a default functionality that will work and your JavaScript functionality also works. We don't want that. So when you are designing a form to submit to server, then you use all form elements in a form container. Here our current situation is not saving on database, not submitting to server, just client side collect the data and use it. So don't use a form, right? If you use a form default have a post mechanism. On get method it can post, on post method it can post. So we don't want that. That's the reason I'm not using a form. So later we will use when we are saving in database. Now this is ready. And this rating is a number type. So I will give minimum is 1, maximum is how much? 5. Value also 1. Default it starts with 1. And this price is also number. You can keep any minimum maximum range also. Suppose minimum is 1. So maximum is suppose like 50,000, something like this I given. And default, I don't want anything. Default, I will keep empty. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of these? You know already, means what are these elements we already know. Now, when I click submit, I need to collect this information and display. Display anywhere inside the page, or I will display in a pop-up. In a model pop-up, I want to display all the details. So we will design a pop-up. So style sheet and href, bootstrap, dist, css, bootstrap.css. And script we need, sorry, src, node modules, bootstrap, dist, js, bundle, js. Fluid, okay. So here just I will put a class, border 1, so border secondary, padding 2 or 3, rounded, that's looks okay, W25, that's fine. And margin top 4. Okay, this is a simple design we are having. Let's keep this button also inside data list. Okay, that's the option we are having. All these elements form control, and price also form control, manufactured form control, and this have a form select. This have a, which one? Form range. And this have what? Form check input. We can make this like form switch also. Then it will display in this way. Check input. Okay. Now this is like stock available or not we are adding. Button BTN warning W100 margin top 3. Okay, this is the form we are having. Now what is the job? Whenever user enters these details, whatever details are there, and clicks on submit, we need to collect all the details and show in a model pop-up. Or if you want, you can display here because you know how to divide into columns to grids. I will use a pop-up for that. So below this, we will create a div class model ID as details. So in the details, so we are having model fade. Okay. And model dialog, the model dialog center, and we have model content. Model content we are having. Okay. So in this we have a model header. In the header we have like product details. So that is the header we are having. Okay. And we will display the details. The details we will add here. What are the details? Data term. One is name, data definition, ID as LBL name. Here we want to show the name. Collect value from name text box and display inside the name label. Here we want to show. Next, price. We will display in ID LBL price. Okay. Next, we have manufactured and data definition ID as LBL MFD. Okay, next we have rating ID as LBL rating. Okay, next what we have, what else is there? Category and data definition ID as LBL category. Another what we are having, stock. Yeah, another is stock and data definition ID as LBL stock. We are adding this. Next in the header, I don't give anything in the header. This is the header. Better all these we will keep in the body. Huh? In which location? Model body. In model body we'll keep that. And in the model footer. In the model footer just we'll put a button OK. So BTN some warning. Okay, W100. Just OK button. Data BS dismiss is equal to what? Model. And this model should open on submit. That means data BS target is a hash details. Data BS dismiss is equal to, sorry, not dismiss, toggle. Toggle is equal to model. Okay. Now I click on submit, a pop-up will come. And here we want to display all the details, the product details we need to collect. So this list, which we are displaying in a label, we'll put as a class as row. And this class as call6. And obviously definition also column 6, terms 6. Okay, term 6 and definition also 6. Terms and definitions are 6. Terms and definitions are 6. Okay. Now on submit click, this is the submit button, right? On submit click, a pop-up is coming. Along with that, in the pop-up, some details also must be stored. So we write on click. What is it? Submit click function. Okay. Now in the script, we are writing the type text JavaScript. And here we have a function submit click. On submit click, several details are simple. Only one details is required with a condition, and that is stock, because stock is coming from a checkbox. Checkbox can be checked or unchecked. If checked, it should have available. If not checked, it should have out of stock. That only condition. Rest all simple. Collect the value from this text box and display inside the label. So how to collect the label? Document dot get element by ID LBL name dot, because I want to display plain, I will use what? Text content. What to display? The value coming from text box. So document dot get element by ID txt name dot what? Value. That's it. That means the value entered in text box is collected and displayed in the label. Same thing for others also. Let me copy this line. What is other? LBL price. In that we have to display the value coming txt price. We have LVL what? MFD. We have to get the value coming from txt what? MFD. Next, LVL what? Rating. We have to display the value coming from. So this is range rating. Range rating dot value is slider value. And if you want, you can add some different kind of markup also. As of now, I am using text content. Instead of text content, I will use inner HTML. Why? Because after the value means 3, 4, 2 will come. After the value, I will put a span. Am I right? In that span, we will put a class. What is it? PI star fill and the text success. That's I will add. Is it possible to add this using text content or inner text? It's not possible because inner text content will not allow any markup. So here we are displaying the value and a span, and that span will have this class. So make sure that bootstrap icons also there. Link relation style sheet, href, node modules, bootstrap icon, font icon dot what? CSS. Okay, now rating is okay. Document get element by ID LBL category dot text content. So document get element by ID LST what? Categories dot what? Value. LST categories dot value. That is LST categories value is there. That's okay. Now stock requires logic. All other details are simple. Collect from the text box and show in the label, right? So what I will do, let's collect stock checkbox. How to collect stock checkbox? Document dot get element by ID, that is OPT stock. Actually, this is stock checkbox. This is the stock checkbox ID. OPT stock is the checkbox ID. Now I need to verify whether the checkbox is checked or not. If it is checked, then available. That means I will put stock status is empty as of now. Why? Because it will be decided based on condition. What is the condition? If stock checkbox dot checked means if it is selected. If stock checkbox is checked means it is true. If it is checked, then stock status must be, what is it? Available. Otherwise, else, what should be stock status? Stock status must be like what? Out of stock. Now this stock status must be displayed in a label. So document dot get element by ID. What is it? LBL stock dot what? Text content is equal to stock status. Stock status is having available or out of stock. That means first we are collecting the checkbox and we are having stock status. Stock status is empty. If the checkbox is checked, then into this variable we will store a value called available. Otherwise we will store a value called out of stock. And what value we stored, we will display inside this label. In this label we are showing. Now your design is ready. I am not writing any validations. Later we have to write validation also. Validation means if name not entered. If name not entered, as of now, what it will do? It will take empty. But later we will write validation. Validation we will write if name not entered, if price not entered, we will show the reasonable messages there. As of now, just we are collecting the data. We are not using any validation. So enter the name. So some name. Enter the price. Some price. Manufactured. Some manufactured date. Some date. Category electronics. Rating. Some rating. And remember, later you will learn when user is sliding how to show the rating here only. Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 2? While selecting itself, we can show that. For that, some more logic is there. As of now, this is enough. Stock available and submit, and it will get the details and show. That means it is going to display the data and show the data here. So we want to display the details collected from here. Then we can use this technique. Rating, how I am showing the rating in this way. We can do in several ways. What we can do, we will do one more thing. What is this? I will put here. This is just span after. Before this value also, we will put a span. We will put a span before this also. This is a span and plus. That means before value, after value, we are having a span. Or This span, actually, this span we will end here. This span we will end here. Here we will end the span and one more span will come. That means actually a span starts here and span starts here, ends here. In that, what is the value we are showing? Rating. And for this span, I will put a class as badge, PG success, text white. Like this we are giving. That means usually what it is going to do, we can add like rounded, all these we can add. Then usually we entered some details, selected some manufactured, selected a category, entered the rating, available, submit. It will show like this. This star also we can keep inside it, right? So star also inside it means what we have to do. Now inside this span, we will end this span not in the here. We will end the span outside. Okay, that we will do that way. Now it is fine. Now we entered the details. We are selecting the date of manufactured and the category, rating. I am not selecting available. Then usually it will be what? Out of stock. And you know how we displayed this batch. Spaces and all, you can add margin left, margin right. You can use anything. Just roughly I kept this in a separate. You just normally display that. But here our point is how to collect value from text box, how to collect from number, how to collect from a date, how to collect from drop down, how to collect from slider, and how to collect from a checkbox. Later you will see different other types of elements also. Now when I say available, then stock is available. I am moving this, then the rating is this. You can have more effects also, means actually transforms you can do more. Suppose I will give MS margin start is 2 or 3. Okay. Here you can add more. What is that more? Where is this rating? Rating, you can give this also. What is it? Minimum and maximum. And you can also put a step. Na? We learned step value. Step value how much? 0.01. So 0.1. That means it can be 5, 5.1, 4, 4.1, 4.2 like this. Yeah. That means we can put the rating accordingly. So, and we selected these details, entered some data, selected a manufactured and a stock, and it is going to get that and show. According to what we selected, it will display. This is basically one simple example to understand how to collect data from different elements. In our previous example, we are collecting all details from one drop down. Now we added some more controls. Later we will see some more like radios. So like list boxes, others we will see. For that, some more logics you need to understand. Here for checkbox also one small logic we use. If checkbox checked, it will store one value. If not checked, it will use another value. So this is another example for form input. I will give this example as a form input. This is another example for form input. So whenever we are learning JavaScript, these are the basic things you need to understand about JavaScript. So what you learned up to now about JavaScript is you learned how JavaScript functions, how JavaScript functions are accessed in a HTML page. We have three techniques: inline, embedded, and external file. You learned how JavaScript refers HTML. So HTML elements. We learned so many techniques by DOM hierarchy, by ID, by name, by CSS selectors. So by using ID, right? And you learned how JavaScript handles input and output. Means how it can show the results, how it can take the values. So once you know all these, that means now you are ready to learn JavaScript. So these are all the basics to understand and start learning JavaScript. So to learn JavaScript as a language, these are the first basics you need to know. How JavaScript is added, how it refers HTML, how it handles input and output. Now you are ready for learning JavaScript. So all these days, what you have seen is the preparation to understand JavaScript. That means how JavaScript is going to work client side. That preparation you have done. Now, by knowing this, now we can start learning the concept of JavaScript. So we are going to start understanding now the JavaScript language. We are going to understand the JavaScript language. In language, so many topics are present. Those all topics one by one we will see. What are the topics you have to learn in a language? You have variables, data types, operators, statements, functions. So object oriented programming. We have modules. So you have DOM and BOM interactions. You need to understand about interactions. You need to understand about state management. So these are all the important concepts of language. That means learning JavaScript as a language is about all this. These are just main category. In that again subtopics will be there. So these are the major category. A language means in JavaScript language you have all these concepts. You have all these concepts. So variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, OOP. Remember, every topic is a huge. In every topic, so many subtopics will be there. So modules, DOM interactions, state management, these all are important concepts of JavaScript. Now let's see what these are. One by one, we will learn about the language concepts. In every concept, again, so many topics will be there. So many sub concepts will be there. Let's see. First, in the JavaScript language, we are going to learn about JavaScript variables. What are variables and how they have to work? Let's see the first important concept about variables. Actually, what is the technical thing about variables is, suppose we will add one file program. So here we are writing a script. Temporarily, first we will understand all through some syntaxes. Then we will put in some example. Suppose I want to print a message on screen. Then we have a output method called document.write. You can use any method you learned. I'm using document write. Okay. What message you want to print? I want to print a message starting with hello. And after that, I want a username, hello, and somebody's name. And that name I will take from user, from query string or from prompt, we will take. So I want to take from prompt. So I will put a plus. Why plus? We need to concat. Concat is add. Add a value coming from a prompt. So enter prompt. Prompt. In the prompt you say enter your name. That means a prompt will come. It will ask your name. You will enter the name and it will store here. Hello and that name. So after that, I will put BR. It will put a line break. Then I am using another output statement. So in this statement, so Mr. some name and the same name I want to use here. That means whatever they entered here, I want to use the same name here. And I want to continue the conversation saying that welcome to JavaScript something. That means the name they have entered in a prompt. After entering the name, they clicked OK. That name is collected and displayed here. After that, it is gone. That means it is not available anywhere. If I want it again you have to ask. That means whatever the name you entered in prompt, it collected the name, it displayed the name. After that, it deleted the name. Then if I want the same name again somewhere else, then again I have to ask. That means again I have to ask. So like again I have to ask prompt, enter your name. And after that, I have to display a message like welcome to JavaScript. Roughly I'm adding like this, some space I'm giving, just roughly I'm adding. Later you will learn a lot of presentation techniques. So what is the point is why you are taking username 2 times? Because when he entered the name, we used it. After that, it is deleted. It is not stored anywhere in the memory. Then if I want to use it again, I have to ask him again. I have to ask him again. So you see now it works fine. But when I run this, you can see it is going to ask enter name. Okay, I entered some name. It will use it. It is asking again enter name because 2 times you asked it. Again I have to enter name. Then it will use in 2 places. It will use in 2 places. This is not great. That means reusing a value is not possible. The value you take an input from user, it is available only at that moment. After that, it is deleted. Then what you can do is you can allocate some memory. You can allocate some memory. Memory, in the memory, you can allocate a place because in the memory, there can be so many places. In the memory, you can allocate a location. Memory itself is location. In that memory, again location. And for that location, you can give some name. For that location, you can give some name like uname. That is the name. Now what you can do is, whenever first time they entered the name, this name we will store in the memory. And later whenever they want, we can access and use anywhere we want. That means we don't need to ask again and again. Once you asked it, collect it and store in the memory. And this memory is not a permanent memory. It is a temporary memory. Means this memory will be there until I open my browser. Once I close the browser, it is gone. Is it possible to store permanently even after closing the browser? Yes, possible. We can store in such a way that even after browser is closed, it is still available. Even you shut down the computer, next day it is available. There are so many techniques. But for application, some memory is allocated in browser and that memory will be deleted automatically after the browser close. Now in the memory, we have a named location. In that location, we are storing the data so that we can reuse the data. And this named location in memory is called as, it is called as variable. That is called as variable. So what is a variable? Variable is a named location in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression anywhere you want. And why it is called variable? That means variable means it is not a standard one. It keeps changing. Why it is called variable? Because I close my browser, next time it is again empty. Will it hold the same name every time? No, it varies. One time it stores A, second time it stores B, third time it stores, because memory is temporary and memory is not permanent. And when you close, it is gone, empty. You stored some name John and later you stored some David. It will remove the John and put David. That means it varies its information. It varies its information. So technically, variables are required to allocate memory and store some data in memory so that we can reuse the data across multiple locations. So without variables also we can manage. We can take value, we can do manipulation, we can show results. But if you want the values to reuse, then you need to keep them in memory. And for that you need what? Variables. Variables. So technically, variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. Variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. So that is the general concept about variable. So here one more point is there. Actually, in many languages, variables are strongly typed. Strongly typed. I told you already JavaScript is not strongly typed. JavaScript is not strongly typed. What is strongly typed means? Other languages are strongly typed. JavaScript is not strongly typed. Strongly typed, I already explained the point. Strongly typed and strictly typed difference we learned. Strongly typed means in other languages, when they allocate memory for a variable, they will also mention what type of data it should handle. That means they allocated memory and they will tell in that memory what type of data should be handled. And that memory will handle only that type of data. But in JavaScript, it is not like that. JavaScript variables are not strongly typed. So in a variable, you can store anything. You can store anything. In many languages, in a variable, you cannot store anything. That depends on the variable's data type. But JavaScript variables don't have any data type. That means in other languages, when they allocate memory, so when they allocate memory like age, suppose they are allocating memory like age, they will put the memory like integer age. That means in this only an integer value can be stored. But in JavaScript, there is no type. That means even you type age, you can store a string inside, a true false inside. It will handle any type. Then how to restrict only number? For that, we need additional logic. That means when user enters any value, we will verify whether the value is a desired value or not. If not, then we will reject. If it is the same, we will allow. This additional logic is not required for some languages because they are strongly typed. Because once you declare a variable with a certain type, it will handle only that type. It will not allow any another type. But JavaScript variables are not strongly typed. Are not strongly typed. So variable can handle any type of data. Can handle any type of data. Can handle any type of data. Not only that, the data type can change dynamically according to the value assigned. Data type can change dynamically according to the value assigned. According to what value you assigned, it will be changing. That means, for example, here age is some 15. So age is number type variable. Here age is number type variable. Now into that age, I stored a. Now age changes to string type. Now into that age, if I say true, that means age changes to Boolean type. This is called Boolean. It changes to Boolean type. This is not possible in other languages. Many languages are not strongly typed also. Some languages are strongly typed. JavaScript is not a strongly typed language. That means in a variable, you can initialize any value, you can assign any value. I will tell you the difference that. What is the difference? We'll see that. That means there is no restriction. You can store any kind of data in a variable, any type of data in a variable. Another important is actually every variable configuration Every variable configuration comprises of three phases. Every variable configuration contains three phases. One is declaration, initialization, and assignment. Variable have three important phases: the declaration, initialization, and assignment. So variable configuration comprises of three phases: the declaration, initialization, and assignment. Let's see what these three important points. Actually, here, suppose we are defining like this. So here we are writing some variable like x equal to 10. This x is a variable, but according to the programming standards, this x variable is never mentioned and you are directly using it. That is not correct. First, you have to declare a variable. We have to declare a variable. Without declaring a variable, you can use a variable in JavaScript, which is not possible in several languages. In every programming language, variable declaration is compulsory. But in JavaScript, variable declaration is not mandatory until or unless the JavaScript is in strict mode. We already learned what is strict mode. If JavaScript is strict mode, declaring a variable in programming language is compulsory. That means actually we have var. Later we will discuss what is var. Some x equal to 10. Actually, suppose var x. Into that x, we are storing some value. Actually, this line, that means here, x, var x, this is called, we generally call this as declaration. Declaration contains information about what is the name of variable and what is its behavior. That means var tells the behavior. That means var tells how this can behave. The behavior of x is controlled by a keyword var. We have several keywords, we will see them. We'll learn about them. So this is called declaration. After declaration, we are storing some value into it. And this is called as, after declaration, if you are storing some value into it, this is called as, we call this as assignment. Assignment. Many times people who don't know proper programming terms, when you ask what is happening in the second line, they will say initializing value. It is not initializing value. It is assignment of value. We are not initializing a value into x. We are assigning a value into x. Initializing means what? Initializing means when you are declaring a variable, var, suppose x, while declaring itself, if you send some value into it, then this is called as what? Initialization. We call this as initialization. That is called initialization. Initialization. That is called initialization. So every variable have three phases: declaration, assignment, and initialization. Declaration contains only the name and behavior. Declaration contains only name and behavior. After declaring, if you are sending some value into it, then it is called assignment. While declaring itself, you are sending some value into it, then it is called as initialization. For example, after this, what you are doing is, after this, you are sending some 20 into this. Now, what you are doing? What you are doing? Already it is initialized. After that, you are sending some value into it. So, what you are doing? So, what you are doing? Assignment. That is assignment. After that, again into the x, you are sending some more value, like x is equal to 30. What you are doing? Again assignment. Any number of times you are storing a new value into that is called assignment. So variable configuration contains three phases: the declaration, assignment, and initialization. So three important phases are there. Declaration comprises of behavior and variable name. Comprises of behavior and variable name. Variable declaration is not mandatory in JavaScript if it is not in strict mode. Variable declaration is not mandatory in JavaScript if it is not in strict mode. If it is not in strict mode. So here, if JavaScript is in a strict mode, then you must declare a variable. If JavaScript is in strict mode, then you must declare a variable. Variable can be declared by using following keywords. We have three important keywords: var, let, and const. In JavaScript, variables are declared by using these three keywords: var, let, const. So what is difference between them? What is var, what is let, what is const, what is difference? Let's see the point here. What is difference between them? So here, syntactically, var x, this is called as what? Declaring. X equal to 10. This is called as what? Assignment. Some var x equal to 20. This is called as what? Initialization. Some another number name I will give. Y equal to 20. This is called initialization. So we have declaring, we have assignment, and we have initialization. Declaring a variable is not required if JavaScript is not in strict mode, which already we learned when I discussed about strict mode. I showed you that point. For example, you see here what we are doing now. Suppose first let's understand the concept. So x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to the value of x. So it is working fine. There is no problem in that. But I never declared variable. I directly assigned. So, but here you can see as of now, there is no problem. There is no issue. I already told you JavaScript related issues will be shown in a console. There is no issue. Everything is fine. So here If JavaScript is in strict mode, how to turn on strict mode? Use strict. Then it shows an error. It says that X is not defined. Now declaring variable is compulsory. And how we are declaring the variable? We are declaring the variable some var X. Now there is no problem. It is going to work. Variable declaration is not mandatory when JavaScript is not in strict mode. And if it is in strict mode, declaration is compulsory. Then what is the way, what are the differences between these three keywords, var, let, const? You can declare with var, you can declare with let, you can declare with const. What is difference is here, first important var. It configures a function scope for variable. It configures a function scope for variable. What does it means? This question is very common in almost every interview of fresher in UI development. What is difference between var, let and const? They are very, out of 100, 100. Every interview will ask this question for freshers, right? So configuration of variable using var, let, const difference is it configures a function scope variable. Function scope variable means you can declare in any block of a function and access from any another block inside the function. Then this is called as function scope. You can declare in any block of a function and access from any another block inside the function. Then this is called as what? Function scope. I will show you what it is. What does it means? So var is having the ability to declare a variable and make it function scope. Function scope means you can declare in any block, you can access from any another block. I'll show what does it means. And it supports declaring, assignment and initialization. It supports all three. It supports declaring, it supports assignment, it supports initialization. All three are supported by it. It supports all the three. Declaring, assignment and initialization all are supported. What are these three? Just now you saw. So first, let's see this point here. Here, I am writing a function called f1. Okay, f1 is a function. After writing the function, to see the output and to see the result of this function, we have to call the function. Then the function will execute and the result will come. You return one function and we are executing the function. So that is compulsory. In this we have var x. So this is declaring. We are declaring a variable. And this double slash is for a single line comment. Single line comment. Later I will tell you all comments. Single line comment means now this will not be treated as a code. It is treated as a comment. So the compiler will not consider it. Just one line comment. Okay. X equal to 10. This is what? Assignment. So single line comments are added with double slash. Okay. Now I am writing a condition. If x equal to 10. Now if x equal to 10, I am adding a block here. So I'm adding a block. Let's make this block like this. Okay. Now in this, I am declaring var y equal to 20. This is what initialization. Now here we are printing document.write x equal to the value of x. And in the next line plus br means next line, y equal to plus the value of what? Y. That means it will put a break after that y equal to the value of y. Now what is the point is, this is function scope. That is the function scope. Function starts, function ends. You declared x in a function, but you declared y inside a block. This is block. And you are trying to access outside the block. You are not accessing in the same block. You are trying to access outside the block. Is it possible? It is possible because var makes this y as which scope? Function scope. Understood? You declare anywhere, it will make it as function scope. So you can access anywhere inside the function. That means you declared in a block, outside block, anywhere you can access. That is the meaning of function scope. That means, is it possible to access the variable y outside the block? It is possible because you declared using var, and var will make y as which scope? Function scope. You can access anywhere you want. You can access anywhere you want. That is the meaning of function scope. So it allows to do that. That means y is working, x is working. You are declaring y in one block. You are accessing from another block and using it. It's okay. It will use it. There is no problem. This is the meaning of function scope. Function scope. And it allows all three: declaring, assignment, and initialization. I will copy this. This is up to here one point. Okay. Another important point is actually it allows shadowing. It allows declaring, assignment, initialization, and it allows shadowing. What is shadowing? What is the concept of shadowing is actually, for example, you see, suppose here there is y initialized with how much? 20. After that, I am using y 30. What I am doing? I am assigning. Assignment na? I am assigning. That means even you initialize 20, later you assign 30, it will take 30. I will assign 40, it will take 40. This is also what? Assignment. This is also assignment. That means it is taking the latest assigned 40. And you are declaring again y is equal to 50. This is called shadowing. That is called shadowing. Already it is declared. Why you are declaring again? And this is shadowing. Actually, this is not supported in many programming languages. Even in JavaScript also, it is supported only by var. So this is shadowing. It is not supported in many programming languages, but in JavaScript it is supported. It is working. That means var allows shadowing. Now what is this shadowing? Why you need this? Already there is y declared. You are redeclaring again. Why you are redeclaring again? This situation comes in different places while working with your databases, data APIs and all. That situation you will see how it comes. I will tell you one point. For example, you have a pen drive, a flash drive, some 16 GB pen drive. The pen drive is having some data. You formatted pen drive. That means data is cleaned. Can I get the data again back? You can. We can get the data, no problem. Even you format hard disk, we can unformat hard disk. That means unformat commands are present. There, it is possible. Remember, not deleting, formatting can be unformatted, not deleting. Suppose you that is very general thing, common thing. Suppose you see when any police finds a mobile from a crime scene, somebody have formatted their mobile empty, they will still recover it. What formatted they will recover? It is crashed into pieces, they will recover data from it. Right? They thrown in water, so mobile is not working, chip is not working, still they can recover data from it. They can recover data from it. That means we have the technology in such a way that even you crack the CD into 5-10 pieces, they can recover data from that CD. Data from that CD. We have those concept. Actually, what you may be thinking like formatting means. Formatting means you may be thinking like you are deleting. Actually, I will tell you what happens in formatting. Formatting is nothing but usually what happens is floppy, CD, hard disk, pen drives and all, they all store data in tracks and sectors. That means data is stored like this. Data is stored in tracks and sectors inside them. That means data is stored in tracks and sectors like this. These are the tracks and sectors we are having. This is some tracks and sectors. Actually, what happens in a floppy, in a CD, hard disk, anywhere, the data is stored inside them, like A, like B, like B. Data is stored like this. C, some D. Roughly, I'm giving here. Data is stored like this. Data is stored in tracks and sectors. Now, what happens is you formatted. When you formatted, do you know what happens? It will put a new layer on that. It will put a new layer. Let's say this is filled with some color. So I think this color is normal. I'll just for your understanding sake. That means you formatted, it will put a new layer on it. Understood? It will put a new layer on it. You feel like it is cleaned up. You will not see anything existing. You will feel like it is cleaned up. There is a unformat command in disks. You don't know commands, right? Console commands, operating system commands, they have unformat command. By using unformat command, when they unformat, the new sectors, tracks and sectors, what is laid on it, it will be removed. Again, data is there. The data is there. Do you know in your computer, we can recover data on a particular date also? You know, data recovery is there now, right? You put a date that I want my computer data on that particular date, what it was having. It will get it. That means I thought format means gone. Gone means what? You deleted. What happened? It came out of your hard disk and dissolved in environment. What happened? It is in the hard disk only. Right? You deleted something. What do you think happened? It came out of your disk and dissolved in the environment? No, it is still in hard disk only. This is the technique actually happens. And this is what shadowing is doing. Shadowing is doing. That means what shadowing is doing, what you are doing, assigning. Assigning means already there is one value. Assigning means it will put a new value. Again assign means it will put a new value. That means memory is same. You are adding more values into it. Previous values are still there. Previous values are still there. Only that previous values are suppressed. Understood? Previous values are still there. They are just suppressed. Then what happens is you think that you are using a complete free memory, but some memory is occupied for that old data. That is the reason in your hard disk they say 16 GB. It will not have 16 GB. You know? You know that, right? It will not have 16 GB. That means some MB is missing. And your doubt is like, why this is missing? Because that is required for maintaining other content like fat tables. So many will be there in hard disk. Technically, what is the meaning of assigning? Keeping the old value and push a new value. That means old value is still there. No, I don't want that anymore. Clean up. Delete the memory completely and allocate a new memory again. Then how it is possible to delete the existing memory and add a new memory? How it is possible? Now if I shadow, what will happen? All this previous memory is deleted. Understood? The previous memory is deleted. Again new memory is allocated. Again new memory is allocated. So the new memory is again allocated so that this time it will have only 50. And remember, when you shadow, what will happen? These are gone now. Memory is deleted. Previously, what happened? It is suppressing 20 and it is putting 30. It is suppressing 30, it is putting 40. If I remove this 40, what will be the value? 30. That means we will not suppress, we will completely clean up, because I want same name memory again, but newly. Already I finished using it, and in some other place I want same name memory again. But if I use the existing memory, some memory is already used, then I want a complete new memory. Then what you do? We use what? Shadow. Shadow means what? It will clean up the complete existing memory and it will put the new memory. It is newly allocating memory again for y. That means I want same name y, but I want a new memory. Then we will reinitialize again or redeclare again. This process is called as what? Shadowing. Many technologies don't support this. Many software programming technologies don't support this. So, but JavaScript support this, and JavaScript also will not support all, only var supports it. LET const will not support it, only var supports it. Var allows to what? Shadow. Allows to shadow. What is the meaning of shadowing? Allows to shadow. So shadowing is the process of redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier within the scope. Within the scope. Same name memory I want again. But if I use the same name memory again with a new value, it becomes assignment. I want to clean up the existing memory and want the same name memory again. Then we have to use what? Shadowing. Shadowing. So syntactically here, x equal to 10, this is initialization. X equal to 20, this is assignment. And where x equal to 30, this is what? Shadowing. We are shadowing, we are not initializing. That is the concept of shadowing. Another important is where allows, it allows hoisting. It allows hoisting also. Where allows hoisting mechanism. What is the concept of hoisting? What is the point about hoisting? What is the concept of hoisting is? Generally, hoisting is just like, suppose you see, we have flag hoisting. Am I right? A flag is hoisted. We call flag hoisting. Why a flag is hoisted? So technically, a flag is hoisted. For example, here, suppose we have some location. This is some fort. We are having some fort. And there are some people here. There are some people here. Now, what happened is the distance between the fort and these people is almost, suppose, 1 kilometer. And now, what happened is one person from this group went here. And these people, other people, cannot see him with such long distance. They cannot see him that he is there. Then what he will do? He will go here and he will hoist one flag. Then people from far cannot see him, but people from far can see this. Can see this. What is the meaning of hoisting a flag? Hoisting a flag is to tell that I am here. That is the meaning of flag hoisting. That means somebody climbs on Everest and he will hoist a flag. What he is trying to tell? Proud of my country? No. He is trying to tell that I am here. That means I am here. This country is here. This person is here. To tell that we are marking that we are here. A flag is hoisted to mark that we are here. That is the meaning of hoisting. And this is what variable will do. That means what is this hoisting mechanism is, suppose we are having a function. In this, x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to the value of x. Is it valid? Is my code valid? Is my code valid? Valid or not? It's not valid. Why it is not valid? Because I am in strict mode. And in strict mode, I am not declaring variable. Right? In JavaScript, when you attend any practical interviews, stress questions will be like this only. They will not ask any theory. What is this? What is that? No discussions. Just they will give you some code syntaxes. They will ask what is result of this? What is error in this? Every UI developer interview practically happens like that. They will give you code syntaxes and they will ask what is problem in this? What is result of this? So there is a problem in this. It is invalid. Why it is invalid? Because you are in which mode? Strict mode. You are in strict mode and you are trying to use a variable without declaring. Now what we are doing is I am declaring the variable at the end. This is not possible in many technologies because you have to first declare, after that you have to use. But here you are using and after that you are declaring. No problem. Why? Because this var can hoist your variable. It can hoist your variable. It can hoist your variable x. Then what happens? The compiler is coming from here. Am I right? The compiler is coming from here. When compiler is coming from here, it can notice that x is here. It can notice that x is here. Even you put somewhere bottom, it can notice it because var hoisted it. Var hoisted it, compiler can see from anywhere. Now compiler will take this and use it. There is no problem. This cannot happen in several languages. You must first declare and after that you have to use. And because var supports hoisting your variables, so when it hoists your variable, compiler can see anywhere it is. That means now there is no order of declaring and using. You can use and declare. And this mechanism is called as hoisting. And where supports hoisting, it works fine. There is no problem. And this is not valid in several technologies. It is not even valid in JavaScript also later. It is valid only with the var. Only with the var. So this is we call as what? Hoisting. This is an example of hoisting. So hoisting is nothing but hoisting allows to use and later declare. That's what the mechanism of hoisting. That means there is no order dependency. There is no order dependency. There is no order dependency. Order dependency of declaring and using. Usually there is an order dependency. First we have to declare and then use. And now there is no order dependency of declaring and using. You can use and later you can declare. This is the concept of var. So var is function scope. Var allows declaring assignment initialization. Var allows shadowing and var allows hoisting. That is the concept of var. Now what is LET and others we will see in next session. And once you know all those, then we can put in examples. Here we are first learning the language concept. Once we know the language, then we can put them in examples. So what is LET, what is const, what is difference between them, that we'll see in next session. Monday we'll do that. Okay, right. Yeah. Yes, Mohan, what is your doubt?
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, morning. Good.
All right. Sir, actually, you were explaining this hoisting concept, right?
Yes,
I'm just trying to understand why such a concept is really needed. See, we could very
because
well
it is
just
interpreter. This is not compiler,
agreed,
right?
agreed,
JavaScript uses an interpreter, na line by line translation happens.
understand. But
Uh,
I mean, this looks like deliberately we are doing hoisting, right? We could have very well
Not
declared it upfront.
deliberating. In many
Uh,
situations, you will have to use a functionality or anything before you declare it. Those situations you will
okay.
come across when you are dealing with different approaches of programming. I hope if you know any awareness on programming, there is top down approach, bottom approach, several
Right.
approaches are followed.
Correct. Correct.
In those approaches, hoisting is very important if it is using a bottom up approach, right?
Okay. And
Uh,
specifically, they kept it to for only variable, right?
of course, they have to handle different approaches because JavaScript is the language which enables to use different approaches. Other
Okay.
programming languages will not support all approaches, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
is the reason in other languages it is not supported, and in JavaScript it is supported.
Okay.
Right?
So, yeah, I understand this overall concept what you're saying, but realistically, in JavaScript, where it is really needed, that kind of thing, when you are covering sometime, right? If you could highlight, that will be really nice. Here, it's a simple example. We
Of
understand.
course, later you will
Uh,
learn in many occasions. You will see that
okay. Yeah. All right.
how,
Thank you, sir.
why it is used and how it is used, right?
Thank you.
Uh, yes, Ramesh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Yes,
Hello?
Ramesh. What? Yes.
Sir, in this month I can't attend the classes regularly, so I would like to intimate.
You please contact admin if you have issues in attending batches. Huh?
Yes, sir, I tried and tried, then answered the call or call back.
Huh? You contact your admin. Whom you are contacting? Course admin.
Usharani, ma'am.
Huh? You have your course
Ushar,
admin who shared you online link. Na?
yes, sir, I have. I tried many times, but they are not answered my call.
If you are unable to attend this batch, how it is possible then? If you can't regularly attend, then what is the use of learning?
Yes, sir, I want to take break in this month. From next month onwards, I would like to
That's
continue.
admin only will do that. You contact the admin people, call the admin people. They will only manage this all things, right?
Yes, sir. I tried, but they not answered and not called
Whom
back.
you are
That is
calling?
the
Tell me
problem.
the admin name whom you are calling.
Usharani, ma'am.
Huh?
Usharani, ma'am.
Okay, I will
Usharani.
check with. I will tell them. Okay, to address you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
Uh,
much. Yes, sir.
yes, Navin. Yes, Navin. You have a need of.
I have to attend that Node.js, which building I have to come?
Uh, Node.js, this one backend batches, huh? Offline.
Yes. Evening
Uh,
5 p.m.
this is near Satyam Theatre, Amirpet.
Oh, beside the lane of Satyam.
Beside the lane of Satyam Theatre.
Which
Our Marish
floor?
IT campus is there. You can see it directly.
Yeah, I can see. Which floor?
So you come here, they will tell you in the first floor it will be.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Kunal.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Actually, we using the IDs in the element label. What is this label, sir? And it is mandatory to use the label for the element inside the
Without
element.
using label, you can
Yes, sir.
use the span also. But I already told you when you learnt about forms, labels can bind with the elements.
Yeah, yes, yes.
That is the reason we use labels.
Okay, okay. In JavaScript only, sir.
Anywhere in forms
Okay.
concept we learnt already, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right?
Thank you.
Yes, Sumukh.
Sir, the batch which has already started,
Yes.
that after you finish JavaScript as well? Or
What you are asking?
what I'm trying to ask is the backend course, what?
Already started backend course.
Yes, I know that, but you'll be teaching that after you finish JavaScript again, or will there be no teaching of backend after this? If I want to start
After JavaScript, already you people will be attending React.js.
Okay.
And backend another batches, right? Any another batch of backend you will be attending. So Java, after JavaScript is completed, you will be shifted to React and backend, right?
Okay.
Yeah.